This is the 217 Recovery Podcast with Corey Winfield and his better half, Marney Winfield.
But they might be talking to you, but they're walking right over to the coffee. Kind of like my cat. When I do a podcast, she just walks across the keyboard. Mm-hmm. Kind of the same thing.
On a mission.
Yeah, she is. Anyway, sorry. Should we start this over?
If you want to.
Yeah, let's do that.
Okay.
It is the 15th of July, 2021. My name is Corey Winfield.
My name is Marney Winfield.
I wish I could go back to those kind of problem days. Beautiful, funny, awesome, smart kitty cat walking across the keyboard. Mm-hmm. Just am stressed. And I'm not trying to be like a whiny person about it, but I'm beat. I'm stressed. I'm mentally almost just fried.
Physically too.
Huh?
You're tired.
Yeah. I think I need to call my therapist. I think it's time. Mm-hmm. Pick up that phone. Because that's something that I do, and I haven't been to a meeting in a minute. And that's normally how I relieve my frustration and stress. And it's just like it's building up and building up and building up and building up. Like it started with the stupid PGI people in the hats. And then like it went to a different person, different source with just complete, I don't want to call it stupidity, but maybe misunderstanding. And so then I try to rectify that. And then today we go look for a vehicle, and I feel like I'm pretty much called a liar by the, I don't know, whatever he is. Finance guy. I don't know. I don't really need you, bud. I don't know. It just really irked me. But would it have irked me if the other stuff didn't like build up and build up and build up? Probably not.
Right.
And there's only so much stress that you can relieve for me. That didn't sound dirty. But I'm not just kidding. But for real though, and there's only so much I want to bring on you. And you even said we were driving home today and you were just like, man, what's wrong? You know, and I was like, nothing. You okay? And I was like, yeah. And I guess you didn't hear me. Like, are you okay? And I'm like, yeah. I said, yeah. You know, but you let me know that, yeah, when I'm stressed, it kind of does stress you out a little bit. And, you know, that shouldn't, but it does. And that's cool that you let me know that. And I can't talk to you about everything. You know, I mean, I like with a third party involved, you know, who can say, no, Corey, maybe think about it like this. Mm-hmm. And if you said that, I'd be like, well, shut up, you know, and then maybe hold some resentments. Who knows? I doubt it, but maybe, you know, so that's what I mean by, you know, I can't really, I mean, I tell you everything. It just, some things I think are meant for other people to third parties, you know, to kind of step in and have me kind of think about things in a different way. And I think that's what I need straight up, you know, because it's just building up and it's just, oh my God, I'm so stressed and frustrated. And then I start doubting myself and I'm just like, are we doing the right things? And I need to pray more.
You definitely need to call your therapist.
Yeah, and pray.
And that's a good thing, though. I mean, to recognize that, that's important. That's a huge thing because there were times in our lives where when things were going bad and we were stressed out, obviously we would deal with it differently with drugs and alcohol. Yeah. But that right there is huge. But also just admitting that the things you need to do to get over it. You know, recognizing that, not saying it's going to happen overnight, not saying it's going to happen right this second. You know, that's part of beating it is coming to terms with your feelings and sorting through stuff. So that's healthy. In the meantime, it's just, it's a lot to take, but.
Yeah. And, you know, the good thing is at least I can I mean, I don't know how I wouldn't recognize the stress, but just to take a minute to just breathe and realize, okay, this has been building up. And it was probably even before the hat guy. It was probably the last time the hat guy screwed us over. Mm-hmm. You know, it's because I haven't talked to my therapist since then either, you know, and I was trying to be the bigger person at that point with, okay, they totally screwed up our stuff and let's just handle it, and people make mistakes. And then this last one, I just top off. Mm-hmm. And then with the other stupidity of, I don't know, I'm not a big fan of when they put people on buses, and I take recovery real serious. And when someone who's not in recovery kind of does some stuff, and it's just like, wait a minute, like that's somebody's life, man. Like you half-assing something for somebody who doesn't have to take the bus. Like, I don't know, it pisses me off. And then for that person to just be like, man, I don't really care, you know, and that pisses me off even more. And then you throw that on top of the hat guy. And then today with the car guy, it was just like, are you kidding me?
Yeah.
Like,
oh, it's been brewing for a while.
Yeah. Might even be before the first time the hat guy screwed us up, you know? I don't know, but I do recognize it, and I realize that this isn't how I want to feel. Mm-hmm. Nobody likes feeling this way.
Yeah.
And I had to pick up a guy today, and he was really funny, and he was a couple years older than me. Just say it nicely, I guess. But he was telling me that how he handles situations, which I wasn't taking notes. I wasn't like, how do you handle it? I'm going to do that. But he was telling me, he's like, well, someone always ends up in jail, you know, and clearly that's not the way to handle any situation. And he decided that at one point he was just going to isolate himself, you know, from his family and friends and just do his own thing, you know, because he's like, I'm a toxic person. And I asked him, are you a toxic person just when you're drunk or like normally? He's like, I'm just toxic. And I remember thinking those thoughts too when I was drinking. And it just beats you down because it wants to keep you alone, I guess, you know, like it wants you to separate yourself. It wants you to think that that's the only thing that's going to get you through life. And when he was saying that, it was just like, wow, like, okay. And that kind of way that he was handling it isn't the right way. But again, am I handling my situations the right way? I try. Mm-hmm. You know, and I don't like that word try because it's either you do or you don't. So, Susan, I'm calling you. Mm-hmm. Susan, I need you. But no, and the guy was funny and it kind of sad at the same time because, like I said, he cut himself off from the family, and so he said, I mean, they might have cut him off. Who knows? Dude, who wants to really hang out with pops? Who wants to bring the grandkids around dad when he's drunk?
Right.
Probably nobody. So, you know, it was probably a mutual thing, but that's got to hurt, you know, and he was trying to act like it didn't, and he kind of like choked up a few times. But I was trying to put myself in his shoes, and it's just like, man, like, you know, he said he keeps losing job after job, and I asked him, is it because of the alcohol? And he said, yeah, which was in my opinion, as a professional radio broadcaster, that was kind of a huge step because for me, it took me a while to blame alcohol. You know, it was still everybody else's fault for making me drink. Mm-hmm. Oh, well, it really pissed me off, you know, but he just flat out was like, yeah, it was the alcohol. And so he's losing his job. His family doesn't want to talk to him, or he doesn't want to talk to whatever. And then to not have a way to get help. He did not have transportation. Said he had his license. And that's another thing. He said he had a license and he doesn't remember last time he drove.
Wow.
And he was telling me he had this like badass car back in the day, like back in the early 80s. And it's just like, dude, you like to drive, didn't you? And he's like, yeah, man, you know, and it's just like, wow. So you can't drive something that you love to do, something for me that relieves stress. Sometimes, not all of it, clearly. But then the family and the job, and then no one can even take you to get help. You know, I was really glad that we got to step up and help him today. And he thanked me for starting 217 recovery. And he was very grateful for the ride. And he was like, man, if you didn't start that, if you didn't do the things that you're doing, I'd be probably on my way to my deathbed right now.
Wow.
But he's right. You know, and not that I'm tooting my horn, I'm just saying like he's right, because he wouldn't have been able to go to treatment, or he would have gave up. And he said he was very close to giving up. So I'm glad that we're doing what we're doing. And moments like those make me feel really good. And that's kind of why we're doing what we're doing. And with, you know, helping people get to treatment, you know, we're not a transportation company, but we do help people who are still in active addiction and people in early recovery who might have slipped, or just in early recovery in general. You know, find your way. We have the AA stuff on our website. Actually, it's on our app, 217 Recovery app. You can get that in the app stores. But we have resources on our website. Anna writes a blog from time to time. That's on the website. I mean, there's some stuff that you can check out. We need to do more videos and stuff like that. But again, I'm not trying to add to my list of frustrations.
Please don't.
Or my list of things to do every day. But it's something that we're doing for other people. And I just got to pray and give it to God. There's nothing I can do, you know, as magically as I want everything to work out and just be skipping down the road, whistling show tunes. That's not going to happen. And there's hard work that I do have to put in, and there's going to be hard times. There's going to be stressful days. Like, I get that. That's life. But I think praying more and just trusting in God, I think that's what got me here. And I just need to keep doing that, you know, keep doing those good things that you're doing in early recovery, and it'll pay off. Big shout out to Jamie. Oh, since speaking of shout outs,
Thursday night shout out with 217 Recovery.
Jamie got his 5 months today. Proud of you, Jamie.
It's great.
And I know he's proud of himself too, and he should be. You know, 5 months is as long as he's ever been. So big props, Jamie. At least since he was like 13 or something, he said.
Wow. Congratulations.
So yeah, big props to him. He's like 100 years old too, so a long time ago. And also shout out to Kat and AP. I don't know if you know them. No. And shout out to Samantha. Not sure how she's doing, but hopefully well. Also, a couple of Rickies. I got my black friend Ricky and my white friend Ricky. They know who they are. They were both in treatment with me.
Okay.
At the same time. And then my man Robert Pardon, he's the recovery guy.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, we sent him a couple of shirts. I don't think he's got them yet, though.
Ooh, now he's going to know.
Robert, you better be listening. It's a pretty busy guy, but yeah, that would be cool. And he said he listens from time to time. We had him on the podcast. He's a very wise man. Then we were on his podcast, or I was. So yeah, we have to have him back on again. We also have to have Jason Vaughter back on again. He's a big supporter of 217 Recovery, and I'm a big supporter of him, man. And he, like, it's those times and those moments where that you share something and it makes them go, what? Just some little thing that he had posted. I remember I was driving in Grand Rapids and I looked at his post and it said something about, you know, being sober for how many days or something like that. And I thought, wow, like he's admitting that. Like, okay. But it really kind of opened my eyes to being okay with it. And of course that was a very small step towards the big step of, hey, I'm going to start a podcast and tell everybody, you know, because I like to think I was hiding my addiction. But Jason opened my eyes to that. And I've always kind of, even though he's younger than me, which I guess age has nothing to do with looking up to people, but no, it just kind of, it made me like really look up to him. And of course we talked about it on the podcast, but yeah, Jason has great things to say and do. And he's going to be in the 217 Recovery Fantasy League this year.
All right.
Yeah, which I think we're pretty much full. I don't know if everybody's accepted their invites, but we might have one spot open. So if you're into football, if you think you're good at fantasy football, what up? Let's see. But I can't wait for that. And that'll take a lot of stress off.
Yeah. Or more.
Put more on, yeah.
Well, I mean, one thing I think, and I give this advice, well, to myself and also to other people, like in my job, is when people are in early recovery or just recovery in general, or probably just human beings in general, is lots of times we lose sight of self-care. And that doesn't necessarily always mean like taking a shower or, trimming your fingernails or whatever, but like mentally taking care of yourself and whatever that means to you. So like you're a big fan of making to-do lists of all the things that you need to do in a course of a day. I got to do this and I got to do that and I want to do this and I want to do that. Maybe on your list, you should put things that go to a meeting on your list of things. Prioritize because you need it and there is time. You just need to make it. So, and then sleep, which is impossible for you. I still can't figure that out. I could be like, hey, how about try to go to bed at like 9:30? You would probably just lay on your phone until I don't even know when.
Yeah.
Maybe try like meditation music or white noise, maybe. I don't know. We got to think outside the box on that one. But when you get like 2.5 hours of sleep regularly on the night, that's not good.
I mean, I got like 4 the other night. It was good. I felt refreshed.
So not good.
I know it's not good for me, and I'm always so tired. And
being tired, being sleepy makes things just so much more intolerable.
But I can't turn my brain off sometimes.
Oh, I know. I do that too. Not so much these days, but it used to be really bad.
Because there's so many things I want to do and that I need to do, and I don't know if we've talked about it on the podcast or not, but we want to have an auction. A silent auction. We're gonna have it online and trying to get that organized, and I just feel overwhelmed with everything, really. And I don't know, I just need help, I guess.
Maybe if you just mentally, mindfully told yourself, okay, I'm going to shut this off right now and meditate.
Yeah, and I need to reach out to the board members who have been absent, the vice president, and our social media, whatever she was supposed to be or is. But yeah, I need to put the pressure on them now and be like, yo, you guys do something.
Yeah.
Can't do it all.
For sure.
I know you didn't ask to be vice pres, but you are. So do some stuff.
It's funny.
Yeah, but sort of. But yeah, so I don't know. On the other side, though, we do have an opportunity to upgrade our vehicle, and I think that's great. And the guy that got in the car today, and it's nice, but it's getting a little loud, and it's not a muffler thing, so that kind of freaks me out. And the gas gaug's been tripping, being weird, and windshield wipers being weird. I mean, just things are just like God saying, hey man, get this new one, get something new. And then we kind of just fell into something that we weren't even looking for. And it was just like, wow. And it's pretty sweet and a good deal. And I think it'll be easier for people to get in and out of. And there's more room for people to put their stuff. So I think those things would be very helpful.
Yeah.
So I should be excited about it, but instead it's like...
I know, I was kind of like, he doesn't like what's going on in his head, really, because it was like no emotion.
How are we going to be able to, fund it? Are we, I don't know, just like everything started going through my head, and it's just second guessing, and am I doing the right thing? Are we making a huge mistake? Is this what's going to trip us up? But I don't think so.
It's not.
I really don't. But I always doubt myself sometimes, and
it's not that big of a. I mean, I think you're just things seem bigger than they are right now. That's all.
Okay. I don't know. then we got the recovery rally coming up. That'll be fun. That'll be a chance to get away. And I just pray and hope to God I don't try to tell everything to everybody. What's 217 recovery? Okay. You know, that's why we got QR codes. Like, scan that, homeboy. Mm-hmm. Or homegirl. You know, like, scan that. I don't know. Like, because, you know me, I like to talk and I like to go into detail. I mean, I'll start talking about 217 recovery, and next thing you know, you'll know my grandma's name and the year she died, and you're like, the hell is this guy talking about, man? I just asked him, how much do I have to donate to get a shirt, you know?
Mm-hmm. You're enthusiastic about it all. It's great.
Yeah, but I tend to wander. So hopefully I can just, but I don't want to just be like, scan the thing.
You won't.
I bet at the end of it I will. It's hard meeting people over and over. Mm-hmm. You'll see. I'm telling you, you're going to be like, Corey, oh my gosh, you're so right. How did you do that for so many years?
All right, I'm excited about it.
There's one time I might have told this story before on the podcast way back in the day, but there was a time, and it was kind of towards the end of when I was in Arkansas, and I was sober at this time. I was in and out of sobriety, but I was trying to hide it from people when I would drink. But I was at this point where I was just not happy. I guess dry drunk maybe. And this kid comes up, and he comes up to the table, and he's like, looking at me all weird. And I'm kind of looking at him like, what's up, man? He was like, what is this? And he looks at the table, and I was like, oh, that's a beeping table. And his mom was like, oh my God. And my coworker like grabbed me. He's like, what are you doing, man? I was like, well, if the kid doesn't understand what an effing table is, you know, I'm like, I don't know what to do. And the kid was, I mean, he was probably like 8, maybe. I mean, I don't know. Maybe he wasn't. Maybe he was younger, but you know, I just dropped it right on him. Like, that's a beeping table. Except obviously, like Steve was like, dude, he's like, have you lost your mind? You know? And I was like, yeah, I think I had, you know, I was just like, man, I'm done with these people. And, but looking back though, now, I think this is the first time I ever looked back and thought, yeah, I was complete dry drunk, you know, because I wasn't doing the things I needed to be doing to be in recovery. And I don't even think I knew what recovery meant. I just knew that I wasn't drinking anymore. So that makes me better. Yeah. Which is not the case. It's not how it works. It's not how it works at all. But looking, I don't know why I laugh at that, but it was funny, kind of, because the kid's face was like, huh? Like, you had to see it. You had to be there. You had to be there. You had to be there. And I'm not telling like I'm proud of it. But God, I am. But I was at that breaking point. It's kind of the same that I'm at now. Maybe a little bit further away. Maybe further. Yeah, a lot further now. Because today I wouldn't do that. I would just be like, what do you mean?
See, that's good. It's progress. Like, you're elongating your breaking points.
That's an effing table. And I said it all smart ass too. And I hit my eyes real big. That's a table. And his mom's face was priceless too.
That's probably why she was upset, because you said it like that.
Oh my God.
Like, if she would have been like, yeah, son, that is a stupid question, if you would have gotten angry at it, but you responded like.
And we had like 2 or 3 stations out there, and they clearly weren't listeners of my station. Like, we didn't even target them. We didn't target women. Like, a 55-year-old male would be like the perfect guy. 65, okay, cool, that's good. 45, yeah, sure. You know, but those are the people that we targeted with, you know, the classic rock stations. So like, for them not to listen again, I really didn't care. They weren't my people anyway. Like, if they listened, and if they got a ratings book and they listened, didn't mean squat. Nobody was like, wow, Corey, you're really killing it in women numbers. No. Nope. That one time, even if I was, they'd be like, well, who cares? That's not what you're supposed to be doing. You need to figure out what you're talking about and do the opposite, because you're attracting the wrong people. But that never happened. But that's what would be said, I'm sure. Anyway, we're a little late with the podcast, and we got to get it on the air. So thanks for listening. Do you have anything you want to say?
No, I'm tired too.
All right, cool. Appreciate you listening. 272recover.com is the website. Get the app and rate us in the app. The reason why we want you to do that is because we show up more, and who knows who's going to hear what and get something out of it. So rate us in the App Store, rate us on whatever you're listening on, and it'll be easier for other people in early recovery to find us.
Night, everybody.
Thanks for listening to another episode of the 217 Recovery Podcast. Listen on the 217 Recovery app. Download the app and rate us in your app store.